यन्ता प्रविश्य ममवाचमिमां प्रसुप्तान् सञ्जीवयत किल शक्तिधरा स्वधाम्ना अन्यांश हस्तचरणश्रवणप्रदावीं प्रणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय कथाञ्चना स्मृते यस्मिन् दुष्करं सुकरं भवेत् विस्मृते विपरीतं स्यात् श्रीचैतन्यानुमां तम्। Hare Krishna, welcome to our weekly Srimad Bhagavatam class. We are in the ninth chapter and we have discussed the first 11 verses of this chapter. We will again summarize. Basically, this is a chapter where Bhishma Dev, who is lying on the bed of arrows, is instructing the Pandavas, and also we will be then seeing his devotion to Krishna. So, right now we are reading how Bhishma is welcoming everyone on his at his deathbed, and he's welcoming them according to the time, place, and circumstances. He's following the etiquette. So the first four verses we saw how Pandavas, Krishna, and so many sages they go to meet Bhishma Pitama. And then we saw four verses describing in great detail the great sages who come from everywhere to see Bhishma Pitama. Then 9, 10, and 11 is where Bhishma welcomes everyone and he worships Krishna and he affectionately speaks to the Pandavas. And then 12 to 17 verses, which is like one of the main instructions in the Bhagavatam. Those 7 verses, almost 5 verses, 6 verses, they are the verses which talk about Bhishma, how he pacifies the Pandavas. Because Yudhishthira Maharaj is very, very anxious. He's feeling very, very sad. So Bhishma explains to them 3 points mainly in these 6 verses. He first, in the 12th and 13th verse, he sympathizes with the Pandavas, especially with Yudhishthira Maharaj, how he has suffered so much. So he sympathizes with them. And then the next 2 verses, he explains how everything is happening because of the irreversible time. Time is extremely powerful. And then the last 2 verses, he teaches Yudhishthira Maharaj how we should accept everything as Lord's inconceivable plan. The Lord is arranging everything. So what we are doing in this section is we are hearing some amazing spiritual instructions. But these instructions are imparted in a very unique situation. See, generally, we get spiritual instructions in a nice room. Like how are we exchanging spiritual ideas? In an AC room, comfortable. We have prasadam and we are comfortable, right? Like that, we hear spiritual knowledge. In temple also, we have AC. Everything is comfortable. But you see, the spiritual instructions that Bhishma is speaking now, and also that Krishna also spoke few days before, both were spiritual instructions given on a battlefield. All of you are also on a battlefield. We are all fighting battles, so many battles. So this is very, very interesting. Bhagavad Gita and Bhishma's situation both are amazing time, place, and circumstances. And both are very special because we are also in pain, like Arjuna was in pain. We are also sad, like Yudhishthira Maharaj is sad. But the uniqueness of Bhishma giving instruction is that he is not instructing only one person. Like Krishna spoke only to Arjuna. So there are many guests before Bhishma. And Bhishma is instructing all of them. Many have come. And there's a very extraordinary guest reception happening right now. Because, see, let us once see the context and be clear what is happening. Before we hear what Bhishma tells Yudhishthira Maharaj, we need to understand the context, the situation in which Bhishma is giving instructions. So therefore, we'll have to go to verse number 9 again. So we will chant this verse. Please repeat after me. All of you have access to verse number 9. Please see if you don't have the book with you. See the verse. Okay. Please respond. Tan sametan mahabhagan upalabhya vasuttamaha pujayamasa dharmagyo deshakala vibhagave. Ritesh, you would like to read the translation?
Translation: Bhishma Dev, who was the best amongst the 8 Vasus, received and welcomed all the great and powerful rishis who were assembled there, for he knew perfectly all the religious principles according to time and place.
So the verse is saying how Bhishma is the best amongst the Vasus. He is welcoming everyone nicely. Many powerful people, rishis are also there. And he welcomed them in a way that is perfect according to the time, place, and circumstances he was in. Now, purport also you read, I'll tell you. This is a very nice point Srila Prabhupada is giving us in the purport. Yes.
Purport: expert religionists know perfectly well how to adjust religious principles in terms of time and place. All the great acharyas or religious preachers or reformers of the world executed the mission by adjustment of religious principles in terms of time and place. There are different climates and situations in different parts of the world, and if one has to discharge his duties to preach the message of the Lord, he must be expert in adjusting things in terms of the time and place. Bhishma Dev was one of the 12 great authorities in preaching this cult of devotional service, and therefore he could receive and welcome all the powerful sages assembled there at his deathbed from all parts of the universe. He was certainly unable at that time to welcome and receive them physically because he was neither at his home nor in a normal healthy condition. But he was quite fit by the activities of his sound mind, and therefore he could utter sweet words with hearty expressions, and all of them were well received. One can perform one's duty by physical work, by mind, and by words, and he knew well how to utilize them in the proper place, and therefore there was no difficulty for him to receive them, although physically unfit.
So very important purport, how although physically is not able to welcome, physically is not able to do things, and he was also not at his home, but still Bhishma Dev perfectly welcomed the guests. There are two themes in this verse and purport which we should remember. One is the guest reception, how to receive guests, and especially for grahasthas, because grahasthas, they live at home and they always have guests. Atithis come, right? And also the second point here Prabhupada is talking about is how to adjust principles according to time, place, and circumstances. We all have to compromise many times in life. So how to compromise, how to adjust, these are the two things that are standing out. So basically in Vedic guest hospitality, that reception is little complex. In the sense, when a guest comes, you're supposed to give everything to the guest. And the guest also is supposed to be decent enough not to take everything. But the idea is you give everything. Now, you are the host and you have to receive guests in your house. That itself is complicated. But sometimes you have to receive guests even outside your house. It's possible. Like you are hosting some program somewhere else. Now, that becomes more interesting. Then you have to be more careful, more particular. But Bhishma is not only receiving guests, not only is outside the house, he is in a battlefield. Not only is in the battlefield, he is on a deathbed. He is about to die. So he is teaching us how to receive guests when you are on your deathbed. It's not very straightforward guest reception. Not at home and battlefield, but he knew how to adjust the principles when you are outside home also. And Bhishma is unable to do the proper guest reception like folding palms and saying, Hare Krishna, come in. He can't do all those body gestures. He can't offer Dandavat Pranam. But still he is able to please all of them. Srila Prabhupada says 3 words here, 3 things that he did. Sound mind, sweet words he uttered, and hearty expressions. These are the 3 things. If you want to please someone, these are the 3 things you need. You can repeat this. Sound mind. First you repeat. Sound mind. Sweet words. Hearty expressions. And Bhishma engaged in these 3 things. Sound mind, sweet words, and hearty expression. So when guests come to your house, this is what we are supposed to do. Sound mind is important because, it is said that when the serpent of anger bites the false ego, then you are gone. And when the serpent of anger bites the false ego, then the mind goes crazy. So we have seen so many times people come from a lot of trouble in the office, they come home and they start shouting at family members. So it is important to have a sound mind when you're dealing with, when you're having social dealings. And sweet words, they cost nothing. Why can't we give it liberally? It's not that कंजूसी करने की जरूरत है. And opposite of sweet words is stinging words. Sometimes people, they are very sharp tongue they have. And third, very, very important, hearty expressions. Okay, what kind of communication is more powerful? Verbal communication or non-verbal communication? Non-verbal, everybody knows. Although in words you can say so many things, but non-verbal communication, because you know, when two people meet, a person's, I'm sure you do that also, we capture other person's mood by his face, by his gestures, and we make an assumption whether he's favorable, inimical, and then we hear the sound, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. If the expression is not sweet, then we don't feel happy. Genuine expression is so important. Of course, there are some people who specialize in having a very grave face. When I was young, I remember we used to have this Kavi Sammelan. There was one poet who used to come on TV. He used to crack the funniest jokes, but always straight face. But that was his style, and he was very popular for that. But generally, in normal conversations, hearty expressions and sweet words. So Bhishma Pitama, he saw each person. He is lying on the bed. Please understand this context, because next week we'll get deep into this. He's got all the arrows on his body. The blood is coming out. And he's looking at everyone. He's able to make eye contact. He's speaking specific things which is touching the hearts of each and every person. And he was quite fit. He's taking care of each person. He's appreciating everyone. All the sages, he's seeing something good in all of them. Sound mind, sweet words, hearty expressions. You can't say, some guest comes, you can't say, I'm very happy you have come to our house. When are you leaving? Nobody says like that. Hearty expression is so important. See, we also have, see, you are guest reception at home. I'm not sure if it is as challenging as how we have to receive guests, because this place where we brahmacharis stay, this is our home. But this is also our office. In the sense, we also have to do seva, responsibilities, commitments, deadlines are there. So then we have a plan. Today I've got these 4 meetings, then I have to chant 16 rounds, I have to do this. We plan. And then suddenly somebody comes to temple after 4 years, or somebody comes after 1 month. Some brahmachari was in the ashram earlier, now he's gone and now he's struggling. And suddenly he comes after 3 years. He feels just come home. Or some grahasthas was struggling so much, they come to temple, they feel brahmacharis, if we meet them, we'll get encouraged, we'll feel happy. And they come. And they expect affection, reciprocation, sweet words, hearty expression, sound mind. But the brahmachari is himself struggling, balancing. It is like in your home, you know that, you know, 1 week, at least 1 week before, you get a phone call or WhatsApp message that your cousin is coming from, Rajkot on this day and he's staying for 3 days. You know this. So then you know your whole program will be upset. So you make a plan. But okay, these next 4 days, when my cousin will be there, morning, this time, I'll do this work. So otherwise, you have a day is planned. You don't get suddenly, Atiti nahi milta. Atiti matlab, technically, one who comes without telling you, without informing. But nowadays, nobody gets Atitis. They actually get somebody who's informed them. But we actually get Atiti, brahmacharis. And then we have to be very nice. Sometimes it is natural we are nice and then our seva gets affected. But sometimes we have to remind ourselves, अरे एक मिनट ये आया है अभी sensitive रहो, बात करो, ये भी करना है वो भी सब, we have to. So that basically the basic rule of guest reception in our temple ashram is surrender. Suddenly what has come, you have to surrender to the situation. So it's not easy. But if you have a sound mind, sweet words and hearty expressions, then we can serve nicely. We have to learn from Bhishma Pitama. How he was in, we are not in as difficult. So I many times tell myself, oh, you're feeling stressed, but are you in a difficult situation like Bhishma Pitama? Bhishma was on a bed of arrows. Blood is coming out, his pain. But if he is able to welcome and please everyone, why can't you please? And how did he please? Sound mind, sweet words, and hearty expression. So can't we please others with these three things? So what I generally nowadays do is I keep my phone off for most of the day. So that makes my mind strong. Because first criteria, the mind should be strong. But if you are always on the phone, then you are trapped in speed. You are trapped in things to do because you have to reply immediately, you have to talk. Then that speed thrills, but it kills. It's very disturbs your mind. For having very good social relations, your mind has to be peaceful. Mind can be peaceful when the mind is slow and satisfied. And that happens when the phone is off. So, uh, so we have to not get irritated. And therefore, this is very important that we have sweet word. But sometimes I have seen we are in the best of the places because of being so much involved in management, services. We forget the basic etiquette. Somebody has come to Radha Gopinath temple. He is Radha Gopinath's guest, and we forget and we shout at someone, we are irritated. So we don't even speak sweet words nowadays because we are full of ourselves, our problems. शुगर का डर लोगों में भी इतना बढ़ गया है कि मीठा खाना ही नहीं, मीठा बोलना भी छोड़ दिया. That is the situation. So sometimes when devotee has a fracture, हाथ में कुछ हो गया, पैर में हो गया, still we see that according to time, place, and circumstances, they are kind, they speak politely. Krishna book has a beautiful pastime. Bahulashva and Shrutadev. Bahulashva was king and Shrutadev was a Brahmin, poor Brahmin. And when Krishna, he went to both of their houses and both of them offered best guest reception. Bahulashva was a king. So when Krishna came with this big entourage, Bahulashva arranged dance performances, music, huge Chappan feast. He was a great devotee and Krishna was very pleased. When he went to Shrutadev's house, he was a very poor Brahmin. He didn't even have a mat. He had to run to the neighbor's house and get a mat so that Krishna can sit. And he was serving Krishna, and he was with so much hearty expressions. He was serving, and Krishna was equally satisfied at his place as he was at Bahulashva's place. In fact, Shrutadev had nothing to entertain Krishna, so he jumped up and started dancing. And Krishna was laughing, and Krishna was feeling very happy. So Srila Prabhupada is therefore in the beginning of the purport, he says that we need to understand the principle of giving love, and that we can do according to time, place, and circumstances, we can adjust. Srila Prabhupada would adjust without compromising on principles. This is very important. So, there is one pastime where Gurujan Prabhu was saying, I was reading, Shrutakirti Prabhu asked Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, you are adjusting principles, but how do we know what is a principle, what is a detail, what to adjust, what not to adjust? Srila Prabhupada kept quiet and he said, that requires little intelligence. He said that. So intelligence lagega. And then you may ask, how will I get that intelligence? Prabhupada said, Dadami buddhi yogam tam. Krishna says, always do devotional service with love, bhajatam priti purvakam tesham pratata yuktanam dadami buddhi yogam. I will give you the intelligence. How to? Because, I've seen in Grahastha life, compromise happens almost every day. See, the foundation of Grahastha relationship is not compromise. The foundation is dedication to the family. But the dedication takes many forms. And one of the forms it takes is compromise. But compromise is not permanent feature. But we have to compromise. Like I know one Grahastha family, they for the last 25, 30 years, they are following strictly. But when certain guests come, they keep tea, coffee, they keep certain things. For certain guests, they keep, in West, they keep, some devotees keep beer, rum, they have to keep to serve certain people because it's part of life. They may not consume it themselves. So it is not easy to adjust details. Sometimes we become fanatic on the details. Like I remember in one temple in one of the dhams, one of the devotees from another sampradaya, but Gaudiya only, one of our devotees offered Dandavat and he started shouting, how he can offer Dandavat like this, the Lord is eating bhoga, that time you're not supposed to offer. The curtain is closed, you should never offer dandavat. So on the detail, they become fanatic. So strictly we follow the details sometimes. And sometimes we say no compromises. So we compromise not just details, we compromise principles also. Basic principles we give up. Like Srila Prabhupada said, distribute books. Once he said, by hook or crook, they should take books. So devotees caught that word, hook or crook. And they misunderstood Prabhupada. And they started like somebody was there in the airport and they said, I'm interested in yoga. So then he said, I want to learn he meant physical exercise yoga. For this devotee gave one book, Prabhupada's book, Topmost Yoga System. And this is all the yoga asanas explained scientifically. And he just convinced him to take that book. In one sense, he's right, but he's also, in one sense, it is cheating. So like that, there are many, like, somebody said, I want to earn money more, I'm looking for how to expand my business. So he gave him one book of Prabhupada. He said, this will teach you how to multiply your business. So this is complete cheating. So no goodwill you get by that. So devotees would write letters to Srila Prabhupada, how to adjust principles, how to not compromise on principles and adjust the details. So when Srila Prabhupada came to the temple, there were two groups of book distributors. One was saying, kuch bhi karke pustak baato. Wear pant shirt, wear proper wig and, be in a like karmi clothes. Some devotees said we should have pakka devotional etiquette and attire like that. So then Srila Prabhupada explained what hook or crook means. It is not that you cheat. Like for example, one mother is there with the child and she's in a lot of anxiety. But she is saying, oh, बच्चे को कैसे बड़ा करने का, बच्चा हमेशा रोता रहता है उसको. So then the devotee would say, you take this Krishna book, read this story and narrate these stories to your child. So that is in one sense very healthy way of giving her hope. Like one person said, I'm business, I have a lot of anxiety and tension managing my business. So the devotee gave him some chant Hare Krishna and be happy book, saying that this will help you manage your tension, you'll understand what is stress. So this is not cheating. So like that, Srila Prabhupada, and then Srila Prabhupada also said, devotee should go in devotee attire. Why are you feeling shy? Give Krishna consciousness, wear tilak, dhoti kurta. Then Prabhupada would give a very famous example in India. That time, people would go for toilet in the outside public. So Prabhupada would say, see the men in India, they don't feel shy. They just go in the outside. If they are not shy and if they are shameless, why devotee should be feeling shy wearing devotee clothes? Like that, he would say. In fact, in 1950s, when Srila Prabhupada was preaching in Jhansi, 1950s, his first disciple was Acharya Prabhakar. Srila Prabhupada initiated him and he was a professor in a college. And Prabhupada said, you should shave up and have shika. He said, I can't do that because my students will make fun of me. And he said, students are making fun of me. So he couldn't do that. But then Prabhupada insisted that he keeps on small shika and wears pant shirt and goes. So that means it's always a challenge. So you have to be practical also. And Srila Prabhupada would be practical. Although he appreciated Govinda Dasi for taking care of Tulsi, he would focus on these principles. It is there in his Bhagavatam purport. But you go to Russia, it's so cold in some places. They don't worship Tulsi. They have Tulsi Maharani's laminated photographs. And they worship that laminated photograph of Tulsi Maharani. And everything, Mridanga, for example. Traditional Mridanga is different than the plastic Mridangas we have in America. Time, place, and circumstances we have to adjust. We have Gunagrahi Maharaj. He plays Zambe. It's an African drum. So he came to our temple, but he plays very nicely, sweetly. But some of our Mumbai enthusiasts, young people, they got wrong idea and they started playing very passionate melodies. Zambe creates Rajogun. So you have to understand the principle. I remember on Prerna festival, one devotee started playing Zambe and the boys were dancing in a very vulgar way. It was not Kirtan mood. So one of our elderly brahmacharis, he was standing next to me, he said, क्यों Zambe बजा रहे? मैं बोला, प्रभु जी, कीर्तन बहुत पैशनेट हो रहा है इससे. He said, जब हमारे पास बैल है, तो गधे को क्यों लेके आते हो खेत के लिए? So he meant when we have nice mridangas. But क्या करें उधर अमेरिका में certain places this is needed. Like some African drums also devotees play. In Africa it is important because Africans run the kirtan, they have high jump. They jump very high. So उनके लिए सब लगता है. So we should not foolishly criticize them, but we can't do that also. Like pizza, South Indians will offer dosa, Italian devotees will offer pizza. So एक अलग-अलग जगह का we should not criticize. We should know that we are adjusting. Like Mangalarti, for example, in temple it is at 5 o'clock. Most ISKCON temples it is at 4:30. There is a reason why it is at 5, because of the neighbors getting disturbed. In base, it is at 6:30. We can't have same thing everywhere. During Srila Prabhupada's time, there was no Gita Champions League. Abhi wo shuru ho gaya. Bhagavad Gita quiz, one Muslim girl won the contest some years back. So the innovation we do for preaching, it is all in the line of Srila Prabhupada's mood. But the principle is devotees are most important. That's what Bhishma Pitama is teaching. He is respecting all the devotees. Now, how you respect, how you take care of them, how you treat them, it depends on your situation, your challenges. But one thing is, sometimes, it is a month of marathon, we encourage devotees to distribute books. Sometimes it is temple construction, we encourage them to raise funds. Like that, different times, different ways, but that project or that goal is never more important than the devotees. That we should not forget. That is the principle. Bhishma Pitama is teaching that. Pandavas were very dear to Bhishma and he wanted to see them happy. So we are all devotees following Bhishma Pitama's footsteps. We want to see devotees are happy. Therefore, we pray for devotees, we serve them, we want them to be always having auspicious things in their life. So we may be doing different things, different projects, different preaching programs, different styles, we may have differences of opinion. But if you don't forget this principle, then we will always be having good relationships. Our problem is this value of devotee care, we keep it aside, and the goal or the project, the deadline, that becomes more important. And then we think Prabhupada will be pleased if we do 2 lakh books. When we used to distribute books, initially when I joined ISKCON Temple Marathon, our rule was every day you should go out, meet people, distribute books. There was no target. So the experience was very good, meeting people. So suddenly one day they said, this year we'll have target of 2 lakh books. So the goal, 2 lakhs. So then we became focused on the goal. Earlier, in the week, I would meet 25, 30 people, talk to them. Sometimes I would talk to one person for 2-3 hours. And that person would take 4-5 Gitas. And in the end of the week, I would be very happy. I personally would have a target. So let's say I would have distributed 100 books in the week. But when I had the goal of 100 books every day, then that experience goes aside and achievement becomes important. So when we are leading a goal-driven life, if your life is centered on goals, then you will be focusing on achieving. If your life is focused on values, then you will be getting experiences. What is more important? Achievement or experience? Goals or values? Values. We are not saying goals are not important. I'm just saying values are more important. Because even if you don't achieve the goals, because sometimes goals we cannot achieve because of external factors. But if your focus is on values, then you will see that you're happy. See, goals means you will always live in the future. Values will help you live in the present. And goals will make you cut corners. 2 लाख करना है, चलो प्रभु जी आप ना स्पॉन्सर कर दो 100, अरे आप 200-2000 स्पॉन्सर कर दो, हो जाएगा 2 लाख. Actually, that experience of distributing, catching new people, telling them about JOSD course, वो सब साइड में चला गया, क्योंकि ये टिक हमको चाहिए, बस टिक करना है 2 लाख. So in the end, we all have achieved, but have we experienced Krishna? In fact, in that achievement, we may have hurt some devotees, we may have lost the value of devotee care. So values versus goals, ये बहुत important है. Bhishma focused on the value in this pastime. See, there are, when we are goals driven, we may become a master, we get the mood of master and enjoy. But values will keep us grounded. The servant will always focus on the value. So it's very, very important. See, when we are focused on values, we will know how to adjust, when to adjust. But if you are focused on the goals, then see, I'll give a simple example. See, let us say you have a goal of say, getting some promotion in your workplace. If you're working in some company, office में promotion चाहिए. So next year, this time I want promotion. So you will work hard, work late, and somehow see that you get it. And if you don't get it, you are frustrated. And to get it, you may compromise on some value like, learning, growth, family. There may be some values which are very important for you. And you may have a colleague who also wants promotion. He is also desperate, but he's more focused on learning and growth. So he will also learn, keep his mind open. So because of that, at the end of the year, he may miss the promotion, but he is not as miserable because he has worked on his values. See, what are values? You know what is a value is something that you hold in very high esteem, something which is very important for you. Problem is many of us don't know what our values are, but you all have values. You don't know them. Some of us are not aware of what is our value. Very few people are aware. But we all have values. Like somebody, family is very, very important for some person. My family is like family support, family love is most important value for. But he's working 75 hours a week. And then he's wondering why I'm not feeling happy. Because your behavior, your work, your lifestyle is not aligned with your values. So spend some time, understand what your values are, make a list of them. You may have 20 values, but make what are the 3 or 5 most important. And whenever you do something, ask if it is aligning with one of these 5 values or 4 values, whatever your values are most. If it is aligning, then even if you don't become a big person in this material world, even if you don't become a billionaire, even if you don't get all the things that the world is chasing after, you will be peaceful. Ultimately, you will be happy. Are you getting what I'm saying? See, one of the biggest myths and wrong propaganda in this world is everybody should have goals. We should achieve our goals. This is the secret of success. Everybody talks about it, but there are a lot of research study has been done by Harvard Business Review. There is a lot of papers which have proved that goals are dangerous. More important than goals are values. If we know our values and we live our life according to those values. So in Krishna consciousness, we focus on the value of devotee, respecting every devotee as somebody who is very dear to Krishna and representative of Krishna. So when we see everyone, we don't want to enjoy, we want to serve them. In that mood, we interact. So in that mood, when we interact, our life is aligned, all our services, activities are aligned to that value, then we are happy today. And every day is today only. There is nothing. Future is at some point of time, it is today. So, and this value is in place, you will know how to adjust according to time, place, and circumstances. Bhishma Pitama knew very well how to adjust. So this is a very, very important point about guest reception. And this is one of the themes. Also, if you see in the verse, the 9th verse, what is the second line of this shloka? Second line. Upalabhya Vasuttama. Tan Sametan Mahabhaga. Upalabhya Vasuttama means Bhishma was the best of the Vasus. So this also we need to understand. Vasu is basically, it is a dynasty. So Bhishma was born in that dynasty called as Vasus. He is from that Vasus originally. See, there is a very, very famous story. There was a king called King Abhishek. And he was in a very big yajna ceremony at Brahma Loka. Brahmaji's Loka, there was a big yajna going on. And King Abhishek was part of that yajna, and there he saw Ganga Devi. Ganga Devi had also come for that yajna. So in that assembly, Ganga Devi and Abhishek, they looked at each other and they fell in love. And they were exchanging coy glances and affection. And Brahma ji ka to 4 sar hai na, unko dikh gaya sab. Gadbad kar rahe log. And they were like exchanging love glances. तो ब्रह्मा जी समझ गए, अरे इतना पवित्र यज्ञ चल रहा है और ब्रह्मलोक में टाइम पास कर रहे हैं लोग. उनका हो गया, वो क्या बोलते हैं उसको, नजरें मिली, दिल धड़का, प्यार हो गया, सब हो गया. और ब्रह्मा जी को गुस्सा, ब्रह्मा जी ने कहा यू आर behaving like people of the lower planets. So you go to material world and fulfill this desire of yours. Go down. So that's why Mahabhishek came as son of King Pratipa in Bharatvarsha, and he was known as Shantanu. And Ganga Devi, she kept her identity hidden, and then she came, she met Shantanu, he proposed to her, and that's how they fulfilled the desire which had originated in the Brahma Loka. So then, when he proposed to her, she agreed to marry him. She said, only on two conditions I'll be with you. You should not stop me from doing what I want to do. And secondly, never speak rudely to me. And he agreed. So then she gave birth to 7 sons. All the sons, one by one, she took and she put them in, drowned them in Ganga. He was shocked, but then he remembered the vow he had given. And the 8th child, when she was putting, he stopped her. And he started shouting at her, very angrily rebuked her. That time she revealed that who these 8 children were. She said there are 8 Vasus. You know, it's a lineage like we have, you know what, in India also we have na Tripatis, Mehtas, Padias. एक पूरा आपका एक खानदान है. वैसे ही in the cosmos there are 11 Rudras, 8 Vasus, 12 Adityas. So 8 Vasus are there. So then she revealed that there are 8 Vasus, the children whom who I gave birth to, and 8 of them were there, and the 8th one's name was Dyayu. So and he was very attached to his wife. His wife, she saw in Vashishta Rishi's ashram Kamadhenu cow, and she got very attached. She said, I want this cow. She told her husband, just like Sita told Lord Ram to get that golden deer. So she said, I want this cow. So then Dyayu called his 7 brothers, and he said, Isko chupchap hum log chori kar le. So, and Vashishta Rishi was in his meditation. So they stole that cow. When they were stealing the cow, that's when Vashishta Rishi opened his eyes. And he caught them red-handed. And he said, you are stealing, you are behaving like people from from Earth planet. So you are not Devtas, you are not fit to be in these heavenly abodes. You become humans. So then they begged forgiveness. Sorry. So Vashishta said, okay. You will come back after your birth immediately. Because you are sincere. But this 8th fellow, he stole. And he is very attached to his wife. So he will go to material world and will not have a wife. He'll never get Sri Sukh. He will never get the happiness of, so like that. But then they said, please bless us that we have good parents, good family. So he said, okay, you will have good family, but this is a curse, this will remain. So he told them, you'll have good mom, good dad, everything will be good. And that's how Bhishma was born. He is Devu who has come as Bhishma. You know, when I heard this pastime, I used to always, see, I'm always into communication, protocols, you know, having open communication between Vaishnavas. So I always feel whenever this cursing business happens, when the truth is revealed in the end, so I feel, अरे पहले बोल दिया होता. So they could have lived happily ever after. So communication problem होता है. सबको starting में बोल दिया होता. ये सब complication नहीं होता था ना. But you know, Krishna is expert. You know, Krishna is expert in scripting the stories in such a way that our minds can get attracted. Because Ramayana and Mahabharata has so many twists and so many turns. Because then our heart is getting attracted to it. Otherwise, you know, if everything is clear communication, there will be no pastime. See, Krishna has scripted everything so beautifully, even in our lives. Everything is perfectly scripted at the right age, at the right time, right things happen in your life. वो सब, even your body, even your physical beauty, you know, Krishna has scripted. See, if you say, नहीं मेरे को मेरा life को मेरे हिसाब से script करना, you think you will be happy? I'm telling you, if you script your life the way you want, you think you will be happy? You will not be happy. In fact, even if you have to script your own body beauty also, you would think, अरे nose ऐसा होना चाहिए, थोड़ा ऐसा, रोज adjust करते रहेंगे आप. You'll never be happy. We'll never know how to accept. We have to learn how to accept what Krishna has arranged. So, because none of us are happy with the way we look, we are not happy with our finances, we are not happy. We're always complaining and miserable. So we have to allow Krishna to be the script writer of our life. So then Ganga, so when she saw that Shantanu is scolding her, she said, okay, now you rebuked, so I'm breaking the promise, I'm going back to heaven. But I'll take this 8, I will not drown him because you stopped me. I will educate him and I'll bring him back. because there are many rishis there in the heavenly planets, they will train you. Even Parashuram trained this child. And then after many years, I think after 16 years or something like that, for a long time, when Shantanu came on the bank of Ganga, he was remembering his wife, and suddenly he saw Ganga is flowing backwards. It never happens. Ganga is flowing in one direction, flowing backwards. And then he saw one young boy has shot arrows and is making the water flow reverse. And who is this? And that time Ganga reappeared. And she presented their son. He was not called Bhishma then. He was called Devavrat. Why? Because he was blessed by so many devtas. So many devtas had blessed him. So then she said, so then Shantanu started living with Devavrat. And Ganga went back to her heavenly abode. So then Shantanu was happy. One day when Shantanu had gone for hunting, he saw this beautiful woman, Satyavati. And she was extremely attractive. So he said, and he fell in love with her and he wanted to marry her. So what did she say? I will take permission of my father. Now, you know Satyavati's story. One day she had a boat. She would take people on the boat. She was taking Parashar Muni across. You know Parashar Muni? Why is he famous? Parashar Muni is famous for two things. Before that, one is he has given us, definition of Bhagwan. We say, 6 opulences. That definition is given by Parashar Muni. Second, all the Jyotishi Shastra that you read, all the biggest astrologers they all refer to the Parashar Muni's scripture. He has given us the Jyotish Shastra. So Parashar Muni was in the boat, and suddenly the Lord revealed to him something. And he knew that Supreme Lord is going to appear and divide the Vedas into 4, and he's going to come as a Shaktiavesh avatar, and the Supreme Lord needs a medium. So he presented this to Satyavati and he asked her, you can be that medium. And she agreed immediately. And their union produced a child immediately. See, you can't misunderstand this pastime. This was transcendental. Although Parashar Muni was a great renunciant, this was not something which at the material level, And because the proof of, they say, Falena Parichaya, immediately Vyasdev was born and he became fully grown man. And he was known as Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa. Krishna means because he had Krishna color, darkish complexion. Dvaipayana because he was born in that island. And Vyasa is the one who has compiled the Vedas, so he's called as Vyasa. That's how he was. And then like Sukadeva Goswami, his son also left. Similarly, Vyasdev also, as soon as he was born, he became a man. He offered respects to his mother, Satyavati, and he said, I will always be there for you whenever you remember me, mother, and I will leave now. So this is a very, very unique pastime. So then Parashar Muni also left Satyavati. He blessed her and she remained a Kanya. And her body, he blessed her, will be very fragrant. Actually, earlier, her body was Matsya Gandha. It was the fragrance of the fishes because she was a fisher community. So now Shantanu, I'm taking the pastime forward. So Shantanu is meeting her father and saying, I want to marry your daughter. And he says, my daughter will become a maid in your palace because she will get second-class treatment. She's not a queen. So Shantanu assured that I will treat her as a queen. But then our father said the society will not treat her. So then to remove this blemish, Satyavati's father told Shantanu that her son should be the king. And he became morose because he had already promised his son Devavrat. But he can't tell him that I want to marry this girl and remove you from the prince regent. So he just kept quiet. He was morose. He was sad. And face is the index of the mind. So Devavrat saw this. He did investigation. And he found out what has happened. So he met Satyavati's father. And he promised her that he will ensure that Satyavati's son will become the king. So Satyavati's father said, that is okay. But your children will then protest and take over the kingdom. So he said, I will promise you that I will not get married only. So he said, then okay, you will not get married, but how will you protect, how will you take care of my daughter's children? So he said, I will treat them like my own brothers and I will give them everything I have. He had learned from Parashuram. He was so knowledgeable in Dharma Shastra. He said, everything I will give them. So then all the Devtas started shouting, Bhishma, what a vow, what a vow. Because for a Kshatriya to remain celibate, brahmachari is unheard of. And he took that vow, Bhishma. So then his name became Bhishma. And then Shantanu was so pleased, like Yayati's son Puru gave exchange youth, like that, something like that had happened. So he blessed his son Bhishma that he will have Ichamriti. But then Shantanu and Satyavati had two sons, Chitrangada and Vichitravirya. Chitrangada was killed by one Gandharva of the same name. And Bhishma but trained both of them. And then Vichitravirya, he had to get married. So he went to Kashiraj, kidnapped three ladies, brought them by force, Amba, Ambika and Ambalika. But Amba spoke and she said, I'm in love with Shalya. So he sent her back and Shalya said, I cannot marry you because you're already touched by Bhishma. So she came back and she told Bhishma, you marry me. Bhishma, but I've already taken a vow. So then she can't marry him. So she got angry. She did tapasya. She pleased Parashuram, who is Bhishma's guru. And the guru ordered Bhishma to marry her. He said no. So it is said that this is the only order of the guru you can refuse. So then Parashuram said, you'll have to fight with me and I will defeat you and then you will have to force to marry her. So they fought for 23 days and Parashuram could not defeat Bhishma. In fact, Bhishma was about to defeat Parashuram, but then the Rishi, the Devtas said, stop, this will break the universal order. So he was so powerful. That is the point I'm trying to make. Such a powerful warrior. And, he's following the etiquette of respecting everyone who has come on the battlefield. So I'm giving you all this background. So then Amba became very angry. Huh? This is the story. Look at the twist and plot and subplot in Mahabharata. Is so amazing. It's so fascinating. Each time you hear, you don't get tired. Amba did not give up. She pleased Lord Shiva. I want to kill this Bhishma. Shiva said, sorry, nobody can defeat him. He has got Ichamrityu. So next life, in your next life, you can do something. You can be instrumental in his death. So then she gave up her life and she was born as Shikandi. She was born as a daughter of Maharaj Drupad. But she was born as a girl, Shikandi. But, there are so many, it's another story, very interesting story. There are many daughters in the kingdom. So इसको फिर लड़के का कपड़ा पहना, लड़के जैसा treat किया. And then they said, we'll declare that we have a son because there's a lot of politics going on. The political for the kingdom to get to create. They have to. This is a long story. So they have to create a impression that they are a powerful kingdom. So they wanted a prince. So Shikandi was treated as a prince, although it was a girl. So then Shikandi went around behaving like a boy. Meanwhile, Ambika and Ambalika, they married and Vichitravirya died. And then Vichitravirya died early because of TB or something. And then Ambika Ambalika, Satyavati said, you marry them. Bhishma said, no, it is not allowed in earlier. In Kali Yuga, it is not allowed. But in those ages, it was allowed. But still, Bhishma did not do that. So then Bhishma told his mother that you have Vyasdev, your son. He can do this. Is an extraordinary situation. He's a great rishi. So Vyasdev came, but Ambika saw, and Ambika thought, Sapno ka Rajkumar will come, somebody handsome. But when she saw he's a rishi who's been in the water, in caves. So just seeing him, she just closed her eyes. So her son Vyasdev said will be blind. That's what Dhritarashtra was born. Ambalika, she saw Vyasdev and she started becoming pale in fear. So Vyasdev said her son Pandu will be pale in complexion. So then Satyavati was sad. She sent him again the third time. This time Ambika and Ambalika, they put a maid in. But that maid was very devotional. She knew who is Vyasdev. She worshipped him, respected him. Because of her mood, who was born? Vidura was born. So I know all of you know this story, but it is important in the context. How Bhishma's situation. So look at who are the people Bhishma has served. He served his father Shantanu. Then he served his sons Chitrangada and Vichitravirya. Then he got Amba and Ambalika's marriage and all of that. And then he arranged Vyasdev's coming for Amba Ambalika. So then Dhritarashtra and Pandu were born. So he trained Dhritarashtra and Pandu also. And then he trained their sons also. So 4 generations he has taken care. Means Pandava's grandfather's father ka seva kiya hai Bhishma Pitama. When it's like, it is very, very, his life was full of service and sacrifice. Bhishma arranged marriage of Dhritarashtra and Pandu also. He arranged the marriage of Kunti with Pandu and Gandhari with Dhritarashtra. So many generations. Actually, his great grandfather, He had no personal wealth, no personal agenda, no kingdom of his own. Like Jatayu served Ram selflessly. He just served the kingdom. He served the dharma, you know. So, and Prabhupada always glorifies people who sacrifice. Like Jatayu, that there is a whole pastime how when Ram told Jatayu that why did you fight? You shouldn't have fought. You laid your life. Jatayu explained how when Ramana was taking Sita, Mother Sita, it was Vindhya Murta. But if in that Murta, if something is stolen, then you will always have that. So Jatayu fought because after the next Murta would be Punarvasu Murta, at which time you will lose what you have stolen. Like that. So he fought so that the Murta comes. Like that, selflessly he served. Prabhupada said Jesus Christ, he got crucified for serving. So Prabhupada would give these examples. So even Srila Prabhupada, if you see, he was staying at Radha Damodar temple. He left Goloka Vrindavan to come to Bhuloka Vrindavan. And he left Bhuloka Vrindavan so that he could give all of us Goloka Vrindavan. He gave it up, giving up luxuries, giving up comforts. And Srila Prabhupada was genuinely in a servant mood. Like Bhishma served the kingdom, Srila Prabhupada served the hippies. He served everyone who became a devotee. When the Amsterdam temple opening was happening, and the devotees were doing gadbad in the opening ceremony, so Prabhupada was chastising them. So one hippie, useless fellow, he shouted, he told Prabhupada, why are you getting angry? Swami, you should be cool. Why don't you chant Hare Krishna? So Prabhupada said, you are right. Then Srila Prabhupada took the bead bag and started chanting. उसके लिए ना एक सर्विस मूड ह्यूमिलिटी लगता है to allow a hippie to instruct you. So the point I'm saying is they're all in this mood, of service, giving. That's why in the Haridas Thakur, when Haridas Thakur's first time happened, all the devotees in Jagannath Puri, they glorified Haridas Thakur, saying that his disappearance reminded everyone of Bhishma's disappearance, because Haridas Thakur left seeing Lord Chaitanya, Bhishma also left seeing Lord Krishna. If you see all their life now, like Parikshit Maharaj, for example, Parikshit Maharaj life, his departure, is all that pastimes. It is less of Parikshit Maharaj and more of Krishna. If you see, Prabhupada's life is about Krishna. Bhishma's life is about Krishna. It is less of himself. It's about service. अपने आप को पीछे रखना. Therefore, whether it is Haridas Thakur, Bhishma Pitama, Parikshit Maharaj, it is a life centered on service and Krishna. That is the point we wanted to make. And how did Bhishma leave this world? At what time? He waited for Uttarayan. So Uttarayan is auspicious time to leave. But our Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives a very rasik purport to this. He says, Ayana means one who takes shelter. So he was waiting, Bhishma was waiting for Uttarayana, means he was waiting for that person who took shelter of Uttara's womb. Uttara is Abhimanyu's wife. And who took shelter of Abhimanyu's wife's womb? Krishna. Why? To protect Parikshit. So that's why. So he's saying that Bhishma was waiting for Krishna, like that. And Bhishma's service attitude, when Yudhishthira Maharaj was performing Rajasuya sacrifice, now Bhishma is 4 generations senior. Bhishma came and told Yudhishthira Maharaj what service I can do. So Yudhishthira Maharaj gave him the seva of overseeing the arrangements of the guest reception. So he was assisted by Dronacharya. They did that service. In that Rajasuya sacrifice, even Krishna wanted to serve. So what service Krishna did? Washing the feet of all the guests. And at the end of the Rajasuya sacrifice, there is what is called as Agra Puja. Agra is Agraja, like older brother. Anuja is younger brother. Agra Puja is the worship of the most important person in the program. So Yudhishthira Maharaj asked Bhishma Pitama, who should I do Agra Puja of? And Bhishma immediately said Krishna. Krishna should be honored first. And somebody had a problem with that. Shishupal had no problem with Yudhishthira Maharaj. He had no problem with Pandavas. His problem was, see, look at the stories, how many stories are connected. So Shishupal is emblem of envy. So when he was born, he had 3 eyes and 4 hands, very ugly looking. So then whosoever lap he would sit, and if his extra hands go away and his eyes go away, then that means that person will kill him. Then Krishna was the one. So then Krishna promised his mother that I will pardon his 100 offenses. So Shishupal would give Gali 99 times and then stop. He would keep a count. So, but what happened in Rajasuya sacrifice? He was being horrible Galis. And at one point of time, Sahadev got angry. He was wanted to attack. The Bhishma held him and he said, no, there's something very special going to happen. Wait, Krishna is going to take care. So he went up to 99 and he generally would keep a count. And but what happened when he crossed 100 also, Acharya explained, Krishna did not kill him. But after 100, Shishupal started saying, all this is happening because of this old man. He's pointing to Bhishma, who has become senile because of old age and has lost his sense of discrimination. And he has proposed that we should honor this. He used bad words for Krishna. So the scripture says, Sadhavo Hridayam Mayam Sadhuna Hridayam Tvaham Mad Anyat Tena Janapi Naham Tebyo Managapi. The devotees were in Krishna's heart, and so Krishna was very angry that you are insulting my pure devotees. That's how Krishna killed him. So like this, Krishna killed Shishupal. There also Bhishma's role is there. That's what I'm trying to say. Bhishma ka बहुत सारा pastime है. Uttar Kumar ka pastime, you know that when they were in incognito. So Kauravas were desperate to know where they are hidden. So there was one Prince Uttar Kumar in Virata's kingdom who would always show off to all the women in the palace how I'm a great warrior, I'm so powerful. And when Kauravas got a suspicion that Pandava was hidden there, they attacked. And Brahannala, Arjuna was a dance teacher. He had become a eunuch for 1 year. So, and he said, okay, Uttar Kumar, now is the time to show your prowess. I will be your chariot driver. So he got panicky. And when he saw this huge army, he wanted to run away back. So then Arjuna told him, you manage the chariot, I will fight. So then all the Kaurava understood this is Arjuna. And that time, single-handedly, Arjuna defeated all the Kauravas, including Bhishma, Drona, Karna. And Bhishma that time rebuked Duryodhana and Karna, saying that you all are useless in front of Arjuna. Karna also insulted Bhishma. And even when Krishna showed Virat Rupa in the assembly at Astinapur, Duryodhana mocked at it. Bhishma paid obeisances to that form of Krishna. And later on, during the war, Bhishma was made the commander-in-chief of the Kaurava forces. And that time, he told three things to Duryodhana. He said, every day I will kill 10,000 soldiers of the Pandava army, but I will not be able to kill the 5 Pandavas because they are protected by Krishna. Second, Karna will not fight in this war because he is extremely proud and arrogant. So Karna also insulted Bhishma like that. And third thing, he said, if Shikandi comes in a battle, I won't fight. And Krishna, right time, he used that. Shikandi, as I told you, was born as a girl. But then what happened, because of kingly alliances, they had to make an alliance with King Hiranyaman, whose daughter had to be married to Shikandi. Now, 2 girls getting married. After all, Shikandi is a girl. This was not 21st century Kali Yuga. I remember in one European country, first time I visited that temple, they said temple ke basement mein there is a very special marriage ceremony. My host said, Prabhuji, aapko tajub hoga, aaiye dekhiye. And I was shocked to see 2 Vaishnavis, two devotee Matajis in Tila getting married to each other. The yajna was performed by one Mataji only. And these 2 Matajis did 7 Phera also. And I was like, wow. So then, there is the first marriage I attended in my last 25 years of ashram life. I did attend the marriage, I just saw for a few minutes. So that was organized by Galva. Galva is a very bona fide gay and lesbian Vaishnava association. So that was not Kali Yuga. And Shikandi could not get married to King Hiranyavarman's son, daughter, sorry. So Shikandi got upset. Shikandi ran to the forest. There she met one Yaksha called Stuna and broke down. And that Yaksha Stuna felt pity on her. He said, okay, I will do some mystic power. We will have a gender change. I will become a woman. You become the male. You take my male gender. You become a male. And then you go and have the marriage ceremony. And then you come back. Once everything is settled, all the guests are gone, there is no controversy, things are settled, then you come back to me and then I'll take back. Meanwhile, Stuna's master is Kubera. So he's waiting for Shikandi to come back. Shikandi ka marriage ceremony chala, and then the programs are over. And by the time she came back, Kubera is waiting for his servant Stuna, who is now a female. He got very upset. He's not come. And finally, when he called for and then he understood what has happened, he got so angry with Stuna. He said, "You rascal, you are always late. You remain a woman only." He said, "No, but she is going to come." He said, "Sorry, अब तुम ऐसे ही रहेगा." नहीं नहीं, please, please forgive me. मेरा dereliction of duty हो गया. So then Kubera felt pity. He said, "Okay, when Shikandi dies, then you will get back your male gender." Now Shikandi is now trapped in a male body. आप समझ गए? So Bhishma knew this. So Bhishma is telling Duryodhan, "That's why I will not fight Shikandi, although he is a male warrior, because Bhishma had also vowed that I will not fight a woman." He said, "Is a woman." So Krishna knew all the permutation calculation. Krishna reciprocated at the right time, you know. So Bhishma का ये ऐसा story है. See, we have to also understand Bhishma got, in one sense, reaction also for keeping quiet during Draupadi's Swayamvar. He went through all the suffering. He had to go through all those arrows, pain. Sometimes people say, "Oh, Pandavas gambled. And how can Krishna support them?" Krishna did not support them for gambling. Pandavas paid the price for gambling. They went through 12 years of exile. They went through suffering. Krishna supported them, protected them for their devotional qualities. So you can't say that, Bhishma, see, Krishna unconditionally doesn't forgive. Krishna loves us. Krishna unconditionally loves us. He protects us and he will give us what we need for our purification. Having said that, we should also clarify Bhishma is a pure devotee. Bhishma's pastimes with Krishna are not on the material plane. We should not judge it. But still, if you want to understand at our level what we can learn, if you make a mistake, then you will get the reaction for it. That's what we have to understand. And Bhishma basically loved Krishna. Ata pumbir dijasreshta varnashrama vibhagasha sunishtidasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. He served Krishna very sincerely. And then at the end of the battle, Karna also came. He begged forgiveness. He couldn't recognize Bhishma when Bhishma was alive. And Bhishma knew what was happening. See, when Vidishar and all the sages came, I'm ending with this, we are over time. Bhishma knew what has happened. See, he knew the circumstances in which Maharaj Yudhishthira has come. He knew why Krishna had brought him there. Nobody told him, "हम क्यों आए, क्या हुआ?" सब समझ गया उनको, सब देख के. He was so intelligent. He knew exactly what is happening and therefore he was ready, and now he's going to give instructions to Yudhishthira Maharaj what he needs to hear without anybody giving him orientation. So now we will read the instructions that Bhishma is giving, which is from verse number 12, which is what we are supposed to do today. But I thought the context set kar diya. So next week, what we will do, we'll directly go to verse number 12. So 12 and 33, remember the three instructions that Bhishma is going to give. First, he is going to explain to Yudhishthira Maharaj, he is going to give sympathy. कि आपका बात बहुत बुरा हुआ. Then he is going to explain how it's all happening because of irreversible time. And then he is going to say, this plan of Krishna, accept. So this is what we will take up next time. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. क्या इतना स्टोरीज था तो वो सब में फास्ट जाना पड़ा. But any comment, one comment or question regarding today's class? Yes, bro.
Just spoke about that devotees who compromise. They used to keep liquor or somebody for other guests. So isn't that they also get a part of karma if they are serving?
तो मिलेगा. वो तो मिलेगा ना.
It's not actually
मिलेगा. अभी वो, but there are some higher principle. Maybe they may be remembering Krishna and saying Krishna sorry. Like Bhishma got no reaction. Yudhishthira Maharaj also got reaction. You have to choose what suffering you want. There is suffering reactions. मिलता है. But अभी क्या करें? उनका situation होगा, मजबूरी होगा, कर रहे हैं. Who am I to judge? Sometimes people say, oh, so much difficulty in our Grahastha life. We want to get separated. Prabhuji, should I divorce my wife? I said, how do I know what you should do? What life is very complicated. It is कैसे वो क्या करना चाहिए क्या नहीं, तो वो तो है, बहुत पेचीदा है लाइफ. हाँ, by the time you figure out all the puzzle का पूरा solution समझ गया ना, it's time to die and go. How to live, आपको सब जब समझ में आ गया कि अभी ऐसा जीना है, हाँ अभी पूरा फॉर्मूला समझ गए क्या खाना है, कैसे सोना है, कैसे जीना है। प्रभु जी अभी हो गया टाइम, निकलो। So life is so unpredictable.
That is also possible if someone is fortunate to reach that level.
वो भी
To
हाँ.
find the solution.
For most people, they are busy just in their earning money, and they're just at the end of the life, they are just confused. But at least we have some clarity, you know, some at least you're thinking. For most people, what is that? दौलत की भूख ऐसी लगी कि कमाने निकल गए, जब दौलत मिली तो रिश्ते हाथ से निकल गए, बच्चों के साथ रहने की फुर्सत न मिल सकी, जब फुर्सत मिली तो बच्चे खुद कमाने निकल गए। ये जिंदगी है। तो देन बाय द टाइम यू सिट एंड वंडर, ये क्या हो गया, ये क्या हुआ, कैसे हुआ, कब हुआ, क्यों हुआ। लाइफ इज
Why I'm saying because I used to also indulge on all this before I came to this path. So we had also alcohol bottles in our house. So my wife, what she did, my absence, she drained all the alcohol bottles down the drain. So I said,
बहुत अच्छा काम
better
किया।
you should give it to somebody.
that would be charity in mode of ignorance. मतलब गलत चीज गलत व्यक्ति को देना, वो चैरिटी इन मोड ऑफ इग्नोरेंस।
That's what she saved me from.
Very good thing you did. Congratulations. This is a test of these are the.
We have guests who come. I never ever will order for any of
Yeah.
us, even if they have. Sorry, not here.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is we need to be sympathetic, empathetic. People suffer. People pay the price for what they go through. Yes. क्या करें? And all these things are tests, ना? हमारे सबके लाइफ में टेस्ट आते हैं। खास रिश्ते खास वक्त पे परखे जाते हैं। बच्चों को परखना है, औलाद को बुढ़ापे में, पति को परखना है तो बीमारी में, पत्नी को परखना है तो बुढ़ापे में, अपना उसमें व्हेन यू लूज मनी, गरीबी में। पत्नी को गरीबी में परखो, पति को बीमारी में परखो, औलाद को बुढ़ापे में परखो, रिश्तेदार को जरूरत में परखो, दोस्तों को मुसीबत में परखो। So everybody is tested. So even as devotees, we are tested when we have to compromise in certain situations. So life is tough. Let us pray. Sarve jana sukhino bhavantu. Let everybody be happy and they can get Krishna's love. Let's stop here. We have gone beyond 8:40. Okay. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.